Hi, it's Tom with Heritage. In this video, just a really quick look at this emergency call out. We'll call out to this guy's house. There's 4 consumer units here, and 2 had completely lost power, so there's no heating, no sockets and lights in half the house, no outside lighting. And so let me just quickly show you what we found. Right, so this is a completely new install in 2016. So just through here we've got the garage, that's where the main incoming supply is, main consumer unit which is then feeding this consumer unit, and then from this consumer unit there's another one in the house which has lost power as well. So you could see in there we've got a CED consumer unit. Now this is a budget range of consumer units. We've got some RCBOs in there, CED RCBOs. This B50 MCB is supplying the consumer unit in the house, goes out in an armoured cable, so that doesn't need to be RCD protected. But then we've got different manufacturers in there as well. We've got BG, and then we've got this other one that I've not seen before. So that causes the bus bar to potentially not line up properly. You're therefore potentially susceptible to loose connections, overheating. Now we found the problem to be the main switch, faulty main switch. Well, at the moment I'm presuming it's a faulty main switch. Let's have a quick look. What I mean by I'm presuming it's a faulty main switch, there's a couple of other things that it could potentially be. A loose connection in the top, but I checked that and they seem to be tight enough. Once I get this new main switch in, I'm also going to just check using the ammeter that we're not pulling more than, I think that's say 16mm cable, so potentially 80 amps, but that cable is doing quite a lot of the house, so we're going to fire everything up when I get the new switch in, and just check to make sure that's not pulling 80 or more amps. So you can see here now this main switch is actually sort of fused on. We've got burn marks in the top and the side, quite severe there. You know, that looks like it's been close to catching fire. And you can see here on the main line conductor there's a bit of discoloration on the insulation. So I've managed to pick up a compatible main switch. It's the exact same casing dimensions, it's the same sort of font, it's just you know, labelled up with a different manufacturer. So this, you know, like I say, this is a budget end of the spectrum. Not crazy about putting this in. Those of you that have seen some of our other videos, you know that we like to use Crabtree and Hager. Consumer units and protected devices and switches tend to be pretty bulletproof. I mean, if we just compare this budget switch with a Hager main switch, you just see it just looks a little bit more robust. Anyway, this isn't a Hager fanboy video, but just to compare. So I'm going to fit this switch and then we'll do some ammeter tests. So just to show you what the problem is of using different manufacturers in the same board, if you watch what happens as I tighten this. As I get tight, it will start to pull. Watch. Can you see the alignment of this, which is the same manufacturer, versus this? It's proud here and it sits back a little bit here. Let's see if it does it with this BG as well. Yeah, you see he's pulling it off the DIN rail clip at the back. Just making sure that all these are torqued up. screws at the bottom of these. And not particularly, they're a bit stiff. That was just slipping. Let's get the slotted on that one. Right, so that's in now, but you can see with these different manufacturers in here, everything torqued up to the right rating. None of the front of these breakers, even from the original manufacturer, seem to line up nicely. So I'm not entirely crazy about leaving this like this for any period of time, but we will be carrying out a condition report on all 4 of these consumer units shortly, and to be honest, we're recommending probably switching this out, tidying up all this wiring, having a couple of spare ways in the board for any future additions, that sort of thing. So let's get it fired up and then we'll take some current measurements. So we've just come back to the main consumer unit in the garage where the incoming supply is. This is the circuit, 63 amp circuit supplying the board in the shed that we just looked at, which in turn is supplying board in the house. So those 2 boards combined with a realistic amount of gear, currently pulling current, it's about 18 amps. So in conclusion, I'm happy that that main switch hasn't been overloaded. It's just a faulty component. So it's not overloaded, the terminations were tight. I think it's just a failed main switch.